We got to believe March 31st. It means it's almost April, which means we've made it. We are almost here. Made it to the promised land. I know some of you guys are spring training nuts who are ready to fucking watch every pitch down in Port St. Lucie. I'm a regular season guy. I need my real baseball, and we have almost made it. We're almost there, and as soon as we do make it, I'm cracking open an ice cold Coors Light. Look at the tall boys. I love the 16 ounces. To me, the 16 ounces is like the perfect size. I'll be honest, in my older age, I don't need the tall boy, the 24 ounces. Although I used to love hitting the Long Island Railroad, going out to the Hamptons in the summer. I would get a plastic bag, fill it with ice from those, when they just have like the cooler outside the little, I would just throw ice in a bag, put a few of the 24 ounces in there, and the water, it would just melt and like be a mess on the train. But I was like a 24-year-old going to the Hamptons, and I didn't care. And I would just slug Blue Mountains until I made it out to like Hampton Bays. The best. So now I'm an adult. Now I'm a man. So I've got my 16 ounces. Unfortunately, this pack, we don't do this. You see this here? What's that? What color is that? For the colorblind folks at home, that's a Silver Mountain. We're not doing Silver Mountains. We're doing Blue Mountains when you put them in the fridge and get them nice and icy cold to watch the Mets and Scherzer and DeGrom and watch our team start to finally put it together while the Yankees just cry their fucking little bitch boy eyes out. So it's the beer made to chill. Get your Coors Light and let's start this fucking journey. It's a light episode because we really are, like I said, we're just at like the end of spring training, about to start up. You are what you are. Your roster is what it is, and now it's basically time to make it go happen. Unless you're going to add Michael Conforto, because is he going to play baseball this year? Because he probably wants to get that done sooner than later. I'm starting to actually believe he's going to come back because I just don't see. Don't you think like at this point he'll take like a 1-year deal and it's going to be?
Well, he's taking a 1-year deal regardless. I just think the Ken Rosenthal report last night that he hurt his shoulder or something. Yeah. Supposedly he hurt his throwing shoulder at a workout or something in January. Tell you something.
Okay. That's not true.
No, it's not.
That is absolutely not true. I know White Sox Dave said that he heard, like, he got a DM saying that something happened at a bachelor party. That's not credible, but it's also like when there's smoke, there's fire.
Yeah.
By the way, Clem will be joining us in a couple minutes. He's getting Sienna on the bus. When there's smoke, there's fire. And I think that Michael Conforto represents something. I think Michael Conforto represents that last little bit of the Wilpon era. And not like literally, because obviously there's guys like Jake from the team. Yeah. But, we had good times with him, but we've had some obviously bad times with him. And we've had this, he's a weird player and it just doesn't quite fit. And I think this is the last Metsy thing to happen to him. He did something stupid at a bachelor party or has some off the field injury. And it feels like that last little bit of, bad juju, Jeff Wilpon type Mets shit. And so from that point of view, I don't even know if I would take him back. But from the point of view of like, I think you could get him super cheap now. I mean, obviously super cheap, but even like super, super cheap because of this injury and a 1-year deal. And like, I see you kind of being like, meh, Meek, but don't you think you said it best the other
day? There's nothing to lose on a 1-year deal. I'm just saying, it's like, I don't know if this would be the spot for him to regain value, because if I'm him, you want to regain value, you're better off going like a place like Arizona or Colorado and just stat padding.
Sure, I get that.
And being a fourth outfielder here, essentially.
No, I do understand that, but also from a point of view of like life, where it's like this all fell apart.
Yeah.
And now am I going to like uproot everything and go somewhere for 1 year? Or do I want to just like, it's like the devil, like, I know it's not an ideal situation, but let me go back with the boys. He's got friends, he's got connections, he's got family, whatever. And like, let me just try to regain what I once had, because you said it best the other day. He's been in the league for 7 years. He's had one bad
year, basically. Yeah.
So even if he comes back to New York and let's be honest, it's not like, yeah, he's like a fourth outfielder situation, but not like totally. If he were to regain some of his old form, it's not like you're really I'm just saying we're not like murderers row where we got room for another bat. We need bats. We need offense. We have the DH now. We have ways to work it in. And if all of a sudden you're getting, Conforto when he was batting fucking 350 or whatever.
If he had free agency a year earlier, he would have made like 200 something million easily. Like that's a horrible part for him.
I almost want to sign him just
because you feel bad out of pity.
It is. It sounds rude calling it a pity signing, but it's more just like we were once family, dude, and like I got your back. Let's just sign you and help you get back to that level because it all.
Yeah.
I mean, can you think of another guy who it like fell apart for?
Matt Harvey.
Yeah, but Matt never even really. I guess yeah. I mean, neither really made it to their big money, but Matt like kind of deserved.
Yeah.
He partied too much. He was about himself. He never took it seriously. We obviously know now that he was probably doing other things. Like Conforto just had a bad year at the wrong time. Otherwise, he came up. He helped us in the playoffs. He hit home run World Series home runs. He's shown power. He's shown average. He's been good, and it just was like it was just so bad. It's hard to come back from, But it really wasn't a bad season.
You almost don't want to give him the shot because he's connected to Scott Boras. Like Scott Boras is kind of like the cancer of the whole situation where even when he was coming up and we offered him that extension, he was like, I'm my own guy. Like I employ him. It's not his decision. But if you have someone in your ear whispering to you, like, yeah, you're worth 150 easy, like they're cheap shotting you, and then you get hurt, and then he's going to turn around and act like he's smarter than everybody and be like, oh, he heard it diving and that's why he hasn't signed yet. It's like, no, dude. There was no market for him after he had such a shitty season, and then you're going to try to pin it on something else. And his shoulder when he can't even swing without it popping out, like that was the huge issue.
Is it the same
2016?
It's the throwing shoulder. I forgot which one he did in 2017.
So I mean, you can look at that as like, okay, now he's got two bad shoulders. I think of it as like, all right, he doesn't have like one problematic one, but like why? And maybe I know this answer, but it's like. Part of me thinks, why did this one bad season like absolutely ruin him where like people are not thinking, well, I'm going to sign him on the cheap and have a bounce back year. This is the definition of buying low. We believe that the 5, 6, 7 years prior to that are a better indicator of the half a season we really sucked. Why is he not getting any of that benefit of the doubt? I think the answer is kind of like what I've always secretly kind of known about Michael Conforto and never wanted to admit because I thought he was going to be one of those guys who's around the whole time. He's a fine player. He's just not,
he's not like a superstar.
Like tweet saying that he was going to be better than Aaron Judge when I was trying to like drink the Kool-Aid, and in the inside you were kind of like, he's all right. He's okay.
It's like you'll say it, but you don't want to believe what you're saying. Like in a way, gotcha.
And now it's like, okay, so
on it.
We know he's not that good.
That came calling. It was like he just doesn't want to accept a $12 million deal. He's like, well, I'm not worth that. It's like Call Her Daddy, where Sophia was like, just for one extra year, and then you'll be $100 millionaire. But you're like, oh no, fuck you. I'm gonna go do my own thing. Go get the bag someplace else.
Definition of overplaying your hands. I do have to imagine that the reason why people won't even give him any of that treatment probably is Boras, right?
Yeah.
I feel like other guys you would say, we can go get Michael Conforto, who he might stink, but he might give us like 20 home runs, 25 home runs. He might, and we can get him for like 1 year, $10 million. Like, fuck it, let's go. But it's probably just like, well, we might get that, but we know we're going to get fucking Boras.
And he also has the draft pick attached to him too, which some teams do care about that, and others just don't give a fuck.
I personally wouldn't.
I wouldn't care about it. Well, we don't have to go to pick either way because we gave him the qualifying offer.
Right. People who care about draft picks in baseball.
Yeah.
You're in too deep. I get it. You're so passionate. You know about the prospects. You know about the minor leagues, all that shit. You can throw a million stats at me about like, well, these are draft picks that turned into blah, blah, blah. And I can give you 1 billion that turned into fucking nothing.
Mm-hmm.
After the Kumar Rocker incident, I don't give it, it doesn't
matter.
Wait,
speaking of Kumar Rocker, Boras is saying Conforto's shoulder's perfectly fine. This wouldn't be the first time that like Boras is lying about like a guy being injured when he's healthy. Like,
what do we think? Do we believe this White Sox Dave thing that he was at a bachelor party? Like, what can you do that? Like, what are you doing at a bachelor party?
That's what I was thinking too. Like, what can you possibly do at a bachelor party to the point where like, oh, you have a 2-month shoulder injury? Like,
I could see a scenario. I'm at a bachelor party. We're drunk. Someone's like rough housing and fucking wrestling, but like I would get injured doing that, not a fucking
like a pro athlete.
Specimen. Yeah, my shoulder would pop out if we decided to,
Honestly, the fact if you got injured at a bachelor party, it hurts his stock even more. It's like at least if you did it on the field, it makes sense.
Right. I know it's all when it rains, it pours. And right now it is a hurricane for Michael Conforto. And it's maybe like a little baseball karma for picking Boris and rolling with him. But man, it just does seem harsh to me. If he had 2 or 3 bad years, if he was a problem off the field, there he is. There's the big guy. How am I gonna? How are we doing? We're just talking about how Michael Conforto is getting really like fucked. Like no one's even giving him, hey, we'll buy him. We'll take a flyer on him. Hey, maybe he'll bounce back. You would think that he's like toxic. It's like don't go near him. It's like no, he's a good guy. He played bad for a year.
I thought you were saying, speaking of people who have problems off the field, here's Clem. Like I'm an off the field. I'm a problem in the clubhouse or something like that.
No, that's what I mean. Conforto is like Clem. He's a good guy. Yeah, I don't know why nobody wants to take a chance, but
now, did you see the blog today from Scoop City White Sox Dave?
Yeah, and we were just talking how that feels like a Mets thing and from the past that would have happened, and maybe he's the last bit of Wilpon Mets juju that we got to just steer clear of. But at this point, I could see a scenario where he's just like, well, you guys take me back. And it's like, if you want to come out, for cheap and we'll play you where we can. But it's just it's a tragedy for his wallet.
It sucks, man. It sucks for him. It sucks for Mama Conforto. It sucks for what's his wife or fiance or wife's name?
Cabernet.
It sucks for Cabernet. Sucks for Rico Bosco's dad. He's been beating that drum for a long time. So we'll see who can maybe drum up some cash. I'll tell you who's not going to do that is the Yankees because they're just too busy crying their eyes out. Brian Cashman still crying about the 2017 Astros is fucking mortifying. It is embarrassing. That is so long ago now. So long ago to still be crying about that, to call it horrific or horrendous, whatever he said, to first of all, it wasn't in the World Series. So it's not like they snatched it away from you. You still had to win the World Series. It's forever ago. We know that you guys were also cheating. Like there is no more room or time or patience for anybody to be putting up with the Yankees continuing to cry about the Astros cheating. That's not what your problem is, Brian. And I bet you he does sit around thinking, well, when people say we didn't win since 2009, if I had that title in 2017, I'd be good. It's like, yeah, well, even if you did, it would still be a Yankees drought by the old standards. The old Yankees would be like, yeah, the last time we won was 5 years ago. Where's our next ring? But that's how far the mighty have fallen, you fucking crybaby back bitch.
He used the words illegal and horrific like someone got murdered.
Seriously, dude. Illegal and horrific actions like it was child molestation. Like, get the fuck out of here. It's like the people saying that Chris Rock, that Will Smith was like, it's like Judd Apatow. It was the Judd Apatow of
the Astros could have killed them.
It's like you said with Amy Schumer too, where people are saying like traumatized. It's like that. These words mean something. You can't say like horrific when you're talking about fucking a baseball game where it sounds like you're about to get like a letter unsealed saying you guys were fucking cheating too. It's banana land, and it's like kind of a slap in the face of the Dodgers, who have been a juggernaut forever now.
Dodger team, you're just gonna walk past them.
When we say that we not got fucked, but we blew it in 2006. It's because we probably had a legitimate shot to roll through and win that title.
The Tigers weren't great. The Tigers were not a great team.
Right. Like that. I think the Mets were the better team on paper. They had some injuries, whatever. But the 06 Mets were better than the 06 Tigers. To be like, oh yeah, well, we would have rolled through the Dodgers. I don't fucking know about that, man. The Dodgers are the powerhouse in baseball. You fucking delusional little crybaby bitch. I'm trying to rank the embarrassing nature of the Yankees. I think bronze is continuing to point out that you have a $250 million payroll and it's the highest ever, even though the team is fucking poorly constructed. Then I think it's crying about 2017. And then the gold medal is openly admitting to the media and in public that we don't have the same budget as the Mets and we're not going to do what the Mets do. It's insane that they said it. They did all of that publicly.
This is going to sound like a hot take, but I truly do believe it just because I lived through those crazy times. I think if Cashman made that statement today about the the horrific cheating and yada yada, I think Steinbrenner might have just fired him on the spot, especially after everything else it's got. He would have just been like, "You're out of here." He would have wrote a letter to Mike and the Mad Dog. Would have been one of his little misses with the fucking Yankee Doodle soundtrack playing in the background.
Or Steinbrenner would have ordered like a $400 million payroll after that. It's like, oh, you're gonna out cheat us? We're gonna fuck. Or he would have made a bigger cheating scheme than what the Astros did.
That was the biggest part too. He's following it up with, "I'm sick and tired of people saying that we haven't been to the World Series in 2009." It's like, you know who else is fucking sick of it? All of your fans. Because you're not doing anything to get them there. You keep year after year, they're just relying on Cole to be their starting pitcher. If he doesn't have the sticky stuff, it's like, go get the rotation that you need. If you think the lineup's there, what else are you waiting for?
Right. And also, like, there was a time where it looked like he kind of did. He went and got Cole, and it was like, all right, maybe now they finally put it together. But that didn't work, and they kind of just continued to roll with it. And now they're just going to expect, Brett Gardner and LeMahieu and guys that have been there for a while now to just like get the job done. And why would they? Because they haven't for the last fucking 5 years. Why would they now?
He kind of punched his ticket when he went and got Stanton for that huge contract instead of just waiting the extra year for Harper when everybody knew he wanted to come to the Yankees and he was the young new guy. And it's just like from that point forward, if they fired him, would he find another team in a second? Yes.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like at a certain point, he either has to retire or you need to fire him because it's not working anymore.
Right. I mean, I wonder, but also, we say that, but we come from an era and we come from a different New York where it's like, what if Hal Steinbrenner is just going to be one of those owners where it's just like we're friends with Aaron Boone. So he's just going to be the manager. And Cashman's done a good job and he's won 25 years ago. So we're just going to let him coach or manage GM until he fucking dies. It's, we can't imagine that world, but I also never imagined a world where the Yankees would they bend the knee to the Mets and say we don't have the budget they have. So what if it's just going to be like I don't know, what's another example of a totally complacent team?
Cowboys.
Yeah, right.
Jason Garrett. I mean, he was just his puppet. He's like, oh, this guy's going to let me do whatever the fuck I want and walk all over him. Like, yeah, he's the head coach.
Yep.
Sure.
Kyle. I think Kyle just fucking nailed that analogy on the fuck. Yeah. It's the same exact kind of thing. It's just a dude
have the
with his tail between his legs.
History, and they're like, everyone's going to come to the games and buy season tickets anyway. If we make the playoffs, and now they have a better chance of making the playoffs every year, it's like there's no point. Then they're just going to see. They just keep falling back on. Oh, it's just luck in the playoffs. Whoever gets hot.
No, yeah. I mean, the clip of Mad Dog talking about the Yankees and the Cowboys and Stephen A. exploding. I mean, those two, which one is that called? That's First Take.
That's First Take.
Yeah. All of those shows, Undisputed, Undefeated, First Take, whatever, their time in the sun is over. I'm sure they still get enough ratings and those guys get money, but there was a time where that was it and now it's not. And so it's over for those. But there's been a little blip, a little renaissance resurgence with Mad Dog and Stephen A. And I think they both know exactly what they're doing, but they're not overdoing it. It's just like once every 2 weeks, there's like a Stephen A. like, what are you talking about? A Mad Dog with the hands and
my favorite part about Mad Dog going on First Take is you'll have these people that are like either too young to remember or just didn't follow Mad Dog enough to know who he is. They're like, who is this guy arguing with Stephen A? Like they don't know their elders.
I get it because, Mad Dog, if it's not like New York sports or tennis, it's probably not in his wheelhouse. And I know he's been doing national for a long time now, so God knows he's definitely gotten better. But, when I see people being like Dog and Chris Russo being like, why is he on TV? I'm like, you bite your fucking tongue. But also, I kind of get it. I get what you're talking about. But when he does know what he's talking about and he gets going, there's, he's top 5. He's one of those guys you have to listen to.
He's like foaming at the mouth. He gets those white things in the corners of his mouth.
Michael. Yep.
And to all the fan bases that like I know White Sox Dave hates. I know a lot of people who when we grew up with the guy and he was on radio and with Mike, there was nothing better. But now he's kind of become this hot take artist. It is definitely not the same dude that was the fucking.
Well, you know what it is? It's like and it's gotten better also, but when the playoffs roll around and Ron Darling is on TBS and TNT.
Yep.
And it's like, I can admit that Ronnie doing national games is not the same as the Mets. And I think he's gotten better too. But I was always like defending him. And then I'm watching, the American League games or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. This is not what we're used to over on SNY.
And just kind of wrap up with the whole Yankee thing. The craziest thing is, I mean, our brains are so fucked up from the last few years. That was 5 years ago now. That was literally 5 years ago, 2017. 5 years ago, I mean, I thought like 5 years ago was like 1998, pretty recently. And now it's fucking 2017 was 5 years ago, man.
5 years ago, we were trotting out Rafael Montero every fifth day.
God damn it.
So what do we got? I mean, Clem, I was kind of saying like this, aside from Michael Conforto, pretty much everybody, your team is your team. And now it's just time to roll out and start it up and start the process. Oh, so we're going to have the 96er bet. I believe Westy said we put that out like 1 or 2 days before the season starts. So you can place your bet for the, of course, place the over. We have a shirt designed. Actually, if I text it to you, you can put it on screen. We got an old school shirt that we've redone and re-released. That is going to be, if you ride with Clem and the 96er squad, you get this shirt. I'm going to text the pals now. He'll put it up on the screen. It's a hat tip to the old school Shea neon on the outside with the LGM and kind of a makeshift Mets logo. So it's one of my favorite shirts. Like, it's not like a Barstool shirt or We Gotta Believe shirt. It's just like a cool, sleek throwback Mets shirt that if you bet the over for 96, you will automatically get that t-shirt. So we got Penn working on that. Also, when this episode's done and we officially air it out, I'm officially putting out there the Pete Alonso over for home runs. Penn has the number at, I believe, 38.5. I'm going to double check that. I am ready for, there it is. So if you bet the 96 and over, you'll get that LGM neon Shea Stadium shirt. Let me check to be sure.
Which, by the way, I think you had Pete at over 55. So this
no. I had him in the 50 club. I had him. I'm not doing, AARP. I'm not doing senior citizen 55 and up, but I've got him in the 50 and older community. We're going to be doing shuffleboard and early bird dinners because he's going 50 plus. Penn has him at 38.5. I messaged someone on Pete's team being like, you think that Pete could hit 50 home runs? And he just said he's in the best shape of his life. So I don't know what ball we're going to get this year. I don't know what to expect, but I think that Pete Alonso dialed in, healthy as he's ever been, hopefully with some juice balls, DH to help him here and there when he needs to take a day off in the field, full Steve Cohen era, hopefully guys like Lindor and everybody bouncing back. So the lineup is cooking, has some protection. I think 38. I think he's going to hit 40. I think 38.5 is a very good number. I would jump all over that. I can't sit here and tell you to put your money down on 50. I'm going to do it. I would believe it, but 38.5 is, to me, I think something would have to go. If it's under, we're fucked. Like, that's a problem.
Yeah. Oh, no. Pete has fucking like 32 home runs. We're probably winning like 72 games.
Right. Like he's either been very injured or very much underachieving, and you can just flush the whole season down the toilet if that number doesn't get hit. Also, I believe we're going to have a DeGrom or Scherzer Cy Young. If either of those guys win, you can bet that. I threw out a bunch of different ones that they said they just couldn't do. I wanted to do like a strikeout total. I wanted to do home run totals. I wanted to do a couple things that they said we just couldn't really price. But we'll have the 96er, the Cy Young for the two aces, and Pete over home runs. And then throughout the season, we'll be doing the parlay pluses where, this person gets a hit plus a win. This person hits a home run plus a win. This many strikeouts plus the win. We'll be putting those out there all year long. So can gamble along with us, Penn, and we got to believe all season long with the best lines and the best bets in the game.
Yeah, you can't beat it. You're rooting together with all your pals here, everyone else who jumps on the train, all the listeners. We go to the Barstool, the ballpark, talk about all the shit that's going on, kind of status checks where we are. I go to my in-laws; they're right like near Jersey, so I'll go to Jersey, put my bets in responsibly on the Barstool Sportsbook, and then we fucking ride for the season. We get our shirt. Everyone's fucking happy. And by the way, Pete, for the record, rookie year, 53 home runs. 2020 was obviously like the weird.
We don't count 2020. It didn't happen.
He was like, if you like do the numbers, if it was a 162 game season, he easily gets to over 38.5. And he had 37 last year where he was like playing hurt. Remember that? Like he just wasn't the same for like
because some loser Cardinals pitcher hit him on the wrist or something in May.
Yeah, I mean he hit 37 in a year that was like, we could have got more from you, Pete. So again, 38, I think is a great year because I understand why they're doing it. You know, if he came off of a great season, it'd be a different story. But I think this is kind of the definition of buying low, and you're going to get the polar bear back in action. So
he's the best power hitter in baseball. Why do people not notice this? It's like, look at the Derby. He's just pure fucking power. It's all
that's it. That's a great way to put it. You know, he's not the best hitter. He's not the best with the stick, but power-wise, and he does it every year in the home run derby, and he does it every year when he's mashing bombs. Man, to go back to that, if we could go back, I know a lot of that was juice balls, but juice balls or not, those home runs, when like, what was it, like 22 of them came in the seventh inning or later to
off relievers, basically. Like half of his home runs or more than half are off relievers.
Yeah, it was like to gain the lead or tie it up or whatever. It was like so clutch. Which obviously I
had 20 home runs by like mid-May, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I mean he was mashing, dude. I don't think people fully understand, and this is why I still got to find a fucking bridge to jump off of. 53 is like out of this fucking world. So I still got to come and jump.
I still gotta come and jump, yeah. And like Pete's the goddamn, like he's just a lovable guy. Like it's just such an easy guy to root for. Every time you see one of those fuck bombs leave the park, it's a no doubter. Even last night, he had his, he hit that bomb in spring training. I'm like, yep, that's Gonzo. So it feels so good to have Pete back. And next year is his second arbitration year. Then he has a third after that. He wants to get those numbers up as high as possible and kind of buy out those last couple of years of arbitration, I'm sure. And Stevie's gonna want to keep him around.
Yeah.
Dude, it's so funny to me. Like the MLB Players Union is so strong in the sense of like no salary cap and you get these guys big money. But man, you get so fucked as a young superstar. It takes forever to get to your big money. They just got you under their thumb for like 6 years. It's fucking
unless you sign like an Ozzy Albies contract where you're just screwed till whenever. Like, yeah.
I think the only one that kind of worked out well, I remember Longoria did that, right? And I feel like he played it kind of perfect where he got paid early and then didn't fuck himself out of like the big money. But I mean, Ozzy Albies manager, agent should be like thrown in jail. Yeah. That's like a literal crime. I don't know what happened there.
Especially for the guys that get drafted out of college. Like you're not getting that big contract until you're like 30.
Yeah.
And that's your big contract. So it's like,
Alonso.
That's it. You get the one shot.
Rookie campaign because otherwise you're fucked. That's it happened to DeGrom.
Yeah.
That's where Stroman left. Like it's just nature of the beast.
Yep.
And I'll put my hand up now, by the way, because I, kind of like you with the 53 home runs, I didn't say I was going to come and jump off a bridge. I thought when he officially changed his name from Peter Alonso to Pete Alonso, he lost like 10 home runs. It sounded like it was, I don't know, Peter Alonso just sounded like this big hulking menace of a man, but Pete Alonso is so short and crisp. It's kind of like he's swinging and then it's just fucking gone. So hand up on my part. I was completely wrong about that. I still don't like McNeil changing to number 1. I still don't like that. I still, to this day, will say I don't like that.
But one's like the slap hitter. I need him to be going oppo and like doing the little thing. It's the guy you don't really pay attention to.
Like he's basically like signing up to be David Eckstein. Yeah. Okay. As long as you're, a World Series MVP, then we're fine with it.
And speaking of jersey numbers, number 6 looks great on Starling Marte. I'm really starting to like what I'm seeing.
How about so where's like Marte is healthy or what? Yeah, here's all the.
He's playing right field. He's healthy. He should be good to go for opening day. I'm pretty sure.
He looked good last night. Yeah, he looked good last night. He was swinging the ball.
He was stealing bases last night.
Yeah.
Listen, I understand. Lindor did himself no favors last season. Lindor being 68th in baseball right now, I think that's a number that's going to change very much.
We got to just like breed into and build up the underdog role about Lindor. Nobody believes in this shortstop that's making $341 million.
But they kind of don't, dude. I mean, I understand the irony there, but like, again, one bad season, and I shouldn't say one bad season because we all know the trend downwards, but it's like it's trending downwards from like God level numbers that, you know, even if he doesn't recapture that same status of like 4 or 5 years ago, whatever it was, he's still better than what people are giving him credit for, man. Again, one bad season and more so one horrific start that just kind of fucked him, where it was like you can't even dig out of the hole. I'll take it, man. There's a lot of people sleeping on different aspects of this team, and like it's not, you know, scrappy underdog when you have a $300 million payroll. I get it. And you have a $300 million contract, but a lot of non-believers out there.
Yeah.
Getting from both sides of the plate, too. I'm just so ready for spring training to be over. Even in the condensed spring training, I'm like, it's still too fucking
It's
long.
still, yeah.
No, I tip my cap to you guys. I know that you guys are the true diehards watching the spring training games and all that. I can't do it. Baseball is tough enough to watch when there's something on the line. Spring training ball is like...
It's like they're going into extra innings. Everyone even in the ballpark's like, let's just fucking go home. Call it.
Yeah, they should just call it. Like the game's, it's a tie. Whatever. We're done here.
Terrible. But Clem, we were waiting for you to get on for the endless eats.
Oh, why, Kyle? Why are we waiting for me to come on, Kyle?
Profiling.
You know the units in on it.
Profiling. Yeah. So I absolutely love that. It's endless eats, all you can eat concessions on certain Monday games.
We gotta do this.
Now
this is Barstool at the ballpark for food.
Yeah, exactly. It's interesting. It's 2 hours or by the end of the fourth inning. So all you can eat is very much, you have like few innings to just hammer that shit down, especially if it's like a Jacob DeGrom start.
I feel like that's almost similar to the alcohol cutoff when they do all you can drink. By the seventh inning, pretty fucking loaded if you've been doing work. Like it's probably you're almost stopping yourself from yourself. By the fourth inning, if I'm stuffing my face with dogs and popcorn and ice cream and shit, I probably need to chill. So I think that's almost like a good rule to have. But also, what does this include? Do we know? Because you go to a ballpark now, it could be like filet mignon and sushi.
They didn't list it, but the picture just looks like a hot dog, like popcorn.
Yeah, it's got to be like traditional ballpark food. But
I still want to see how many people can put down like 8 or 9 hot dogs in that time span.
Yeah. Clem, have you ever done the 999?
No, I wanted to do it for Barstool at the ballpark one time, and then I think White Sox Dave did it like the week before on Chicago, and I was like, well, that's done.
Nine hot dogs, 9 beers, and 9 innings. I think that's one of those things that a lot of people are like, I could do that, and it's like,
Then you try, you're like, like after the fourth one or your third, you're like, nope, I'm not doing this.
I used to say when I was a young man, I was like, I can definitely do the beers part. It's the dogs that are the problem, and then as I got older, it's kind of switched. And I shouldn't say switch. It's just more that I can't do either of them. 9 beers right now at a baseball game would fucking cripple me. I would be hammered.
The foam alone, I'm already like feeling it in my throat.
And you know, like if you do it in the summer, if you don't drink and eat it fast, it's roasting in the sun a little bit. You're drinking warm beer at the end. Your hot dogs are shrivelly. It's not an easy task.
And then the sodium of the dogs hit, and then you're just straight cramping. You're just straight cramping up. You're dying. So that is the washed up portion of
sun. I look like I'm sunburned on my nose when I do Skypes. It's crazy. How red my nose is.
I do want to. I don't know if I could do it because I've definitely lost a little bit of my luster here. But I was saying someone in the office. We got plenty of units in the office that can go out. Or even if a listener wants to step up and just see how much money we can rack up during this 2 hour or 4 inning. And it's like, right, this is, hot dogs usually $8. You have 8 hot dogs. That's $64. And you just add everything up. And I want to see what number we can get to in terms of this all you can eat.
What is the price tag on the ticket? Do we know?
$60. And you get a ticket to the game too with that.
So yeah, it really is like the food version of Barstool the Ballpark. Because for the alcohol, I'm pretty sure you pay your day. I think at like your 4th beer, it's something like 4 beers at like $9 a pop plus your or even more than that, like $12 a pop, whatever, plus your ticket. I think you get your money back pretty quickly if you just have like a handful of beers. I feel like for the food, $60. Yeah, so you got to have like. You had like 2 dogs, 2 popcorns, and 2 pretzels.
Easily,
We're saying like, we're we're saying, about a fourth inning. What if it's a game where Carlos Carrasco gives up 3 in like a 30-minute first inning,
Right.
and then we score like 6 in the bottom half of the first, and before you know it, it's like 9:30. We have like the third inning. Like,
I mean, but I'm thinking about it like you were saying easily, and I don't doubt that you can do it when you set your mind to it. But if I were to go to a game by the fourth inning, like I'll have like one meal. I'll get like a hot dog. I'll probably have 2 dogs, maybe fries, and a drink. So to be like, you need to have 2 dogs, 2 pretzels, 2 popcorns, that would be a lot of eating. If you're setting your mind to it, you can do it. But if you're just like enjoying yourself, I don't think you would actually put that much down. I bet you they end up making out on this more than the other way around. Because I think the people who do it aren't like trying to be assholes about it. And I think they're probably like, all right, I'm full, I'm done. But if you're trying, I feel like you'll
end
up
on the lines. Like they're going to pick one concession stand in the ballpark, and everyone who signs up for it's got to go wait online. Stevie knows what he's doing. He's not losing.
Yeah. You know what I would do if I was Steve Cohen? I would make something. It's almost like we used to work with MeUndies, and MeUndies had a pair, 365-day pack where you get 365 pairs of underwear, a new pair per day for a year, and it was like $5,000 or something crazy. And it was obviously no one was ever going to do that. It was almost like a marketing ploy. I would have some sort of all-you-can-eat drink ticket that has like no cutoffs, no restrictions. You can get the filet mignon, you can get the sushi, you can get the whatever, all the top shelf alcohol, everything. Price it out crazy, and really nobody was ever going to do it. But it becomes the Darren Ravels of the world start talking about it because you get great press for these things. You come up with these little gimmicks, and people don't ever really actually utilize them, but you get all the talk going.
And I do think that might be something Uncle Stevie does in the next few years. Is I could see him lowering the prices to hot dogs to like $2. Remember, then like all those ballparks that did it, they ended up making more money. They're like, because then people can afford it, and you don't feel like a fucking schmuck spending $6 on a hot dog that you get a whole 8-pack for $6. Speaking of that worm Rovell too, he just tweeted out some. I'm sorry, Kyle. What'd you say?
We're going to try to get into the Airbnb thing. That was the ploy last
year.
Oh, my God.
Night. They stay over in the Bobby Bonilla
suite. Who won that?
I want to do the Bobby Bonilla suite. I want to do the thing where you go camping on the fields. I want to hit balls, golf balls in the offseason. I want to do all those Citi Field things that I've never done any of them. We got to weasel in to the Bobby Bonilla thing. Like someone's got to pull strings and just let us do it this year.
Like somebody stayed in there, but like there was no press around it.
Like,
video package. It was like
that never.
It just, or maybe it happened and we just didn't see it because we were too annoyed at that point.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Those are some dark times. Once July rolled around and everything. That's
the dog days of July.
No more meaningful games in September. That is the goal. Once again this year, that's all we're asking for.
By the way, my favorite in all of baseball promotion stories, you go read the tales about the dollar beer nights back in the day.
Oh my God!
It was like I don't think it was in New York. I think it was Chicago and a couple other places.
Yeah,
stadiums do them a lot too, and it's nothing but like fights and sex and people peeing, and it's unbelievable. Those are great.
When MLB Network used to have like their countdowns of like top like worst like promotions ever. I think that was like 2 or 3 if I remember correctly.
Yep,
yeah, Disco Demolition Night always is number 1, and that had like a bunch of history behind it because I guess those two teams had like been in a brawl a week before, and I think that the cheap beer was involved in that as well. There was actually a tweet too that the Mets are now, to get around the stadium, you can also, instead of having a ticket, if you're I think a season ticket holder, they scan your face, and then anywhere you want to go to the clubs or whatever, you can. Oh, look at that, we're here. So wow. I don't know what you think about
face.
That's wild.
I'm pretty sure they also do that when it comes to like security. Like, when someone gets banned from the ballpark, like how would they know like he's there? I think they use facial recognition to like keep people banned. That's just what my thinking was. I heard like a while ago.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's why I don't get too upset about it. It's like they have everything on me they probably already want. So
yeah,
they ban my ass from the stadium or whatever. So I don't really know about that. Did you guys talk about that home run derby X thing?
No,
it's not.
Didn't go around the league yet.
So basically there's here we go. It's up on the YouTube people watching.
It's the Harlem Globetrotters for home run derbies.
Yes, exactly. So you have kind of like some washed up players. softball or women's baseball star, player from that region's local development system, and an influential content creator, which is, goddamn, we live in the fucking craziest times. And they're going to go, let's see, we got London, Seoul, Mexico City, and then teams are Red Sox, Yankees, Dodgers, Cubs. The Mets will be on that list once Stevie Cohen gets his claws in this team. We just are outside of that realm right now because fucking we've been owned by the Wilpons for so goddamn long.
This is wild.
Johnny Gomes was one of the players, right? Gomes was one of the players. Who else was on that list?
Nick Swisher, former Met Adrian Gonzalez.
Former Met.
Yeah, it's just like they're trying to be. They're late to the game on everything. Like basketball's cool globally, so they're like, let's do this. Let's do like
Nick Swisher. Dude, here's the thing.
I hate Rob Manfred. I'll just go ahead and say it. I hate that guy.
I know what they're trying to do. At least they're showing some sort of proactive attempt. All you got to do is let Buck Showalter fly in on a fucking hovercraft.
I like how those guys are referred to as MLB legends, like Giovanni Soto, MLB legend, Johnny Gomes, MLB legend.
if you take the big boss approach and we do everything that Japanese baseball is doing for Shinjo, I mean, that guy is a fucking walking carnival. The fans love it. He is the fucking man. Could you imagine flying it? That hovercraft is awesome.
Awesome.
The flying jet ski is what that is. The flying snowmobile. We just need more shit like that. You don't need to come up with like preposterous. You know what that feels like? You know what Home Run Derby X feels like? That feels like what Home Run Derby would be in Back to the Future 2. Where Marty McFly shows up in the future and he's like, what is this? And they're like, yeah, this is how we do Home Run Derby in 2015. It's just so like cockamamie and all over the place. You don't need that. We can just do little things here and there that people want. You don't have to go completely sci-fi with it. You should wear the Mercury Mets fucking uniforms while they do shit like that.
They shouldn't.
They what?
They're moving second base in the minor leagues. Shit like that, I'm like, the game's hundreds of years old. Like, what are we doing?
Why does that matter? What's that about?
So the way that I never knew this actually, but the way that they measured it is from like home plate to first base and third base, they measure the outsides of the bag to get to 90 feet. And then for some reason, from first to second and second to third, they only measure to the middle of second base. So second base is actually only like 88 feet away. So because it's not 90, they're like, let's fuck around with it anyway because it doesn't actually matter. And
what does that do?
They want more bang plays. They want players to try to stretch singles to doubles. They want more stolen bases. But it's like it's a game that you don't really change. Baseball's quirky because the outfield walls are different everywhere, right? But like everything else is for the standard of just like dimensions.
I always thought it was kind of cool that like you get a bang play in 1898 and you still get them now. I don't think we need like more of those. I think it's actually always kind of stolen bases. I feel like if you move it in, you get a lot more stolen bases because it's pretty much bang as it is now. And I feel like unless it's only like a couple inches, whatever, but I feel like that's the one thing you really don't need to fuck with.
Whenever news stories like this come out, I'm just like, all right, try not to be the old man yelling out loud. And this is like testing me as much as it's going to possibly test. I lived with the DH being gone because like someone said online, like, it was always about the strategy and the pitcher staying in longer. Pitchers don't go more than 6 innings. So you're missing like one at bat, maybe 2. That's all you're fucking missing. So I can kind of see that. This feels like a little bit of sacrilege here. I don't.
It's
like
only the minor leagues though, so we'll see what happens with that.
It's just knowing that that's like the idea would be to test it out. I said we do the Savannah Banana shit before we do this stuff.
Oh yeah.
Savannah Bananas are having the best offseason, or I guess beginning of the season, of anyone in the world. They just go viral. It's them, and then Big Boss is number 2. We're all on the same page here, right? When Buck is tired of winning World Series, we have to hire Big Boss as our next man.
Yes,
100%.
And if Big Boss, who at that point would have still been Tsuyoshi Shinjo, we only refer to him as Big Boss in his current state. But back then, if he was a New York Met in 2022, the shit he'd be doing with Uncle Stevie there, just telling him to do whatever the fuck he wants, it would have been, we'd be changing. He's already changing the baseball world as we know it. And it starts at like, the best part is it's at 5 a.m. So everything by the time we wake up, he's already gone viral in Japan. And then he's just going viral here. I can't wait to see every single morning. I'm like, what did Big Boss have in store for us today? I cannot wait. I hope he comes to the States and does, because those orange those orange fucking like armbands were electric back in the day. They were incredible. Phil, do you remember him, or were you a little young for him?
I'm probably a little too young. Like I said, I was born in 97, so my first like Mets teams that I remember were like 04, 05, 06. Like the 06 team is like I was 9 years old. I remember like pretty decently.
I'm almost positive he was number 5 also. Because they gave away those wristbands and they had Shinjo and his number on them. I used to wear them in Little League, like shit like that, where that's how boring baseball is. Major League Baseball, we're like, oh, he had orange wristbands. This is the coolest guy ever. Now they can't even come close to anything that anyone else is doing.
He was number 5 too. So the greatest number 5 in Mets history. Some are saying. No, I can't even do that even for the big boss there. Just an absolute electric factory, the absolute best. I fucking love Tsuyoshi Shinjo. Excuse me, big boss.
I feel like there's not much else to really get into, right? I mean, it's a quickie here, but
have we officially said he's communion wafer until further notice? After last night, I can't get behind Cookie anymore. He got out of the first inning all right, then gives up a bomb, gives up another bomb an inning later. What was it? 3 earned in 3 innings or something like that. So just absolutely.
You know what he is? Hang on.
Are you gonna crumple a cookie in front of us?
Don't you do it.
I got communion wafers on deck.
Wow.
Yep. I got a whole box of them, Clem.
There we go. We got fucking
1,000 communion wafers for like $2.
34 starts, because I know it's never the guy that sucks that gets hurt. So he'll pitch all 34 starts for this year. I am at the point where I don't know where it is in like Buck's mind, where it's like, do you give the young kid the shot over the old veteran? But like,
I think you'll see like a month of we're gonna see like the same 5. And we have a ton of double headers like coming up at some point too. So like maybe we'll see McGill and Peterson in those, or I don't know. Maybe someone else pops up in the minor leagues.
I'm giving Carrasco to. It's crazy to say it, but I told Frank he can't say anything bad about Buck until Memorial Day. I'll give Cookie until Memorial Day to get his fucking shit straight. That's a long fucking leash right there.
I'll give Cookie one fucking start. That's one fucking start. As soon as it's bad, I'm on his
first start should be that Sunday game versus the Nats. So if he can't pick, we'll give him a pass for anything that happens to Juan Soto. Any of those other 8 hitters, that's an issue.
That's fair. So that looked bad last night. Marte looked good. Lindor still looks good. Pete fucking cracked the bomb.
Oh, and Robinson Cano is playing first base tonight.
Yeah. God damn it. Get Keith back down there. Keith is going to be like, don't you put that motherfucker at my position. That's fucking money sucking motherfucker. So I guess that's it for the week. We'll see what brings us over the weekend. Hopefully everything is pretty quiet in Mets land and shit. We're a week away from opening day, a week away from the gala. We're going to have the gala live at HQ in the Gambling Cave. So we'll be doing that. It'll be a good time. And as always, this time of year is the easiest time to say this. Gotta believe.